Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of X-amining 97, where we break down Easter eggs and discuss this week's episode of X-Men 97.
Don't we crack open the eggs?
Oh, we crack open all of the eggs.
Easter eggs.
Yeah. We crack them all open. Ladies and gentlemen, this week on the panel, we've got Big Hair Don't Care, it's Frey.
Sorry, that's from this morning. I really don't care. And we have our stand-up, sit-down, Cyclops fan, and Gambit aficionado.
He's our replacement. Mob Stash is our replacement Cyclops fan. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, Graveyard is running a little bit late. He's still doing his interview back on his channel. If you guys, it looks like he's actually finished up, so he'll be here soon. If you guys did not get a chance to check out Conversations in the Void, it was actually a really good conversation tonight. Head over to Pod Out at Night's channel. Check that out at some point, guys. Of course, I am your boy, Young Phil. I am not quite a mutant, but maybe one day.
But you play one on TV.
I'm not a mutant. I'm not a mutant, but I do play one on TV. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump right into all of the fun that we've got going on planned here today. So you guys, we all watched the episode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously. I mean,
what
we wouldn't be here
Wait, what? No, I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say we wouldn't be here if we didn't, right? But this episode was super epic. Before I have you guys give me your initial thoughts on the episode, let's give a quick kind of like rundown on what Chapter 8 was about, or Episode 8 was about. Episode 8, basically, Bastion is confirmed to be the season's true mastermind. His
voiced by Theo James.
His origins are revealed. We find out that he's basically a merging of Master Mold and Nimrod, representing different existences of Sentinels, both past and present. We also get Operation Zero Tolerance. We get the whole situation behind all of that. And a crap ton of character cameos that we are going to kind of dissect here in a moment. So just all of the fun that happened in this episode, without going too far into it, what were your guys' initial thoughts on the episode? Go ahead, Fred.
Okay. Well, first I want to say I'm down with OZT. Yeah, you know me. I'm just kidding. I'm really not. I am not down with that. I don't approve of their mission statement at all. But I had to do it because the joke made itself. So I feel like Bastion went through a different kind of siege perilous. Being that he was birthed. But
oh my god.
Yeah. That was like the only thing that like really stood out to me, that I was like, oh, what, really? We don't get siege perilous people? Come on. But I thought it was a good episode. I actually think it's a good first part because I know it's a 3-parter.
Yeah.
And also, where the crap is Storm?
I mean, she showed up at the end.
No, she didn't.
Yeah.
No, she got called at the end, but she didn't show up.
I mean,
she's still with her little boy toy forge, slacking off now that she's got her powers back.
Hey, she's okay. Let her get it in. It's fine.
You've never had that friend that when you could tell when they're back in the circle because they broke up with their dude or guy or whatever, like they're gone and they don't exist, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey girl, what's up? And it's like, oh, come on, man.
Be like, oh,
yeah, I'm not seeing him anymore.
You got a new haircut. You got your nails done. Oh, you must have broke up with somebody.
Yeah. Oh my god. Sash, what are your initial thoughts on this episode?
Without getting in very deep, that's what she said. I'm gonna go that it's very crazy. because every episode could honestly, I'm so used to every episode could be its own season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just with little, like, especially this episode, I was like, oh crap, like this is like almost not Thanos level, but this is like the way they had everything by the end around the mansion. I was kind of like, this is pretty crazy because every episode could have honestly been like a season finale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, easily in the 90s that would have been a cliffhanger. The Trask. Oh, where are we gonna go from here? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, it genuinely feels like, hey guys, we may only have one season. Let's give them everything. I don't know where we would go from here, season 2, because it's already world ending. But
I mean, like that's kind of where you need to go with a lot of these things. Is they need to be Omega level cataclysmic events, right? And
of Omega level.
I know, right? And Graveyard has brought this up, but we've never gotten the actual Age of Extinction storyline with Apocalypse. Yep. So, the next season you can get into Age of Extinction. You can get into now that we're kind of like expanding on more. You can do House of M. There's so many storylines that they can do. It's kind of like, can you predict where they're gonna go next? Probably not. Right, just mainly because there's so much they can do. There's so many storylines in this season that they just went, okay, hey, let's take these major storylines and we're gonna make it a plot point for the season, right? Madeline Pride is a big example of that, right? Yeah. Hellfire Gala is another example of that. I just heard Graveyard, and he's just in time for this. So, Graveyard, welcome here.
Xavier has his slogan. Mine is "To me, men."
Wow.
But Grave, I'm actually gonna pop you up on the front right here. What were your initial thoughts on the episode?
My initial thoughts were holy shit, as it should be. I think initial thoughts was some of my theories still might hold true.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and to me, initial thought was also, if there's ever a place to drop the F-bomb in this TV show, they missed the opportunity.
Man.
Oh yeah, they really did. You're right. Yeah.
Because it's not, you don't screw with the Summers, it's you don't fuck with the Summers.
Oh yeah, no, that was a perfect scene to do that. If they were gonna drop an F-bomb in this cartoon, that was the moment to do it.
Oh,
I mean, they dropped an F-bomb in Galaxy, like, well, I mean, in like Guardians, right? So I mean, like, why, if you're gonna drop an F-bomb in the Guardians, you can drop an F-bomb in X-Men '97.
Yeah, we'll see. And I agree with Forza's statement earlier in our chat. Was this needed to be an hour and a half event in one night?
Yeah,
waiting 2 more weeks for conclusions painful at this point.
It kind of is, especially with like the way that the action ramped up in this entire episode. So, I mean, thoughts outside of what I just mentioned right now. This episode was jaw dropping the entire way through, between the Easter eggs that, like, the blatant Easter eggs that popped up in the episode, to just kind of the action and kind of where everything went. This episode was. It is a perfect cap point to an already perfect season. Kind of where they're at. I mean, it's and kind of agreeing with what you just said, Grave. It's painful to have to wait another week to get another 30 minutes, just knowing that that's not even the season finale. You know what I mean? So it is great. And again, the way they design this is for us to all have conversation like the way that we're having right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, we, when we were kids and the X-Men, the animated series came out, we would have had to wait for that. So I just feel like they're just really honoring the previous project.
Right. Gotham Guy on Instagram saying House of M would be the perfect storyline. And then he also said, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. Holy shit. that was his reaction to the episode. So I mean, and that's exactly how we feel. Like I mean, that I literally in our group chat typed in "holy shit."
Yeah,
like that was my reaction to this episode. So now that we've got initial reactions out of the way, let's jump into these Easter eggs.
One more initial reaction.
Go ahead.
It's crazy that they have a long string storyline, but they're buttoning up. They still manage to button up little storylines, so it none of it feels like it's a Walking Dead. We're just walking to the next town episode.
Yeah,
like nothing happened.
Yeah,
everything something's being buttoned up in every episode.
Yeah, and at no point does this feel like we're not getting fulfilled on anything on any level on the show. Like there is nothing but fulfillment in the show.
I mean, you could also say that Bashing has a Messiah complex.
Oh no, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna talk about that. But like again, Disney needs to walk back firing Bo DiMaggio because the dude is amazing on this. They did it for
James Gunn.
For James Gunn, you can do it for Bo DiMaggio. Yes, Bo DiMaggio's a little bit of a weird dude, but the dude is a masterful writer. So,
okay.
Yeah, he is. He literally wrote perfection.
He had a lot of perfection to choose from. Thank you very much.
But I mean, what he chose to do and how he chose to tell the stories, and the way that he fit so many, like he fit entire storylines into 30 minutes without us feeling like we didn't get the story that we wanted. You know what I mean?
I could use another an hour and a half.
I'm saying like he did Life Death in 2 episodes.
I know. I'm messing with you.
Yay!
Word of the day, or how does that even happen?
I guess this is the second time it's happened. So when I do a peace sign, apparently,
okay.
If you do the thumbs up, there's the thumbs up.
Yeah. If
you do a thumbs down.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's an Apple thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's got an Apple computer.
Yeah, remember, Apple people need to get reaffirmed all the time, so that's why they have to build it in.
Yes, we do. You haven't told me I'm pretty yet.
Yeah, exactly. Tell me
that's where my confidence went.
Tell me you love me. Gotham guy saying, "Oh my God, you're right." That the fulfillment. So let's get into these Easter eggs, guys. So the first Easter egg I'm going to bring up is kind of early on in the episode. We get a conversation between Beast and Cable, and Cable's computer cube pops up, which is something that I almost forgot about.
Right.
And it's such a major character when it comes to Cable, or like I guess maybe like a plot thing on there, because every time you see Cable in the comics, he always has that cube computer.
You mean his mother box?
His mother.
No, it's his iPhone 50.
At some point,
mother box and his mom's in the show. Like that's low hanging fruit. That's low hanging fruit.
At some point, I know, right? At some point, iPhones are literally going to become hollow boxes like that.
No, they won't. They'll be like contacts, or we'll have a chip in our head or something.
That's actually that's
better,
because there is technology in place that's along those lines. All right. Anyways, I'm not going to go off tangents. What are your guys' thoughts on seeing the cube itself, or kind of like what was the reaction on seeing kind of for however brief it was to see the advanced AI that Cable basically carries around with him everywhere?
I just felt awkward with the whole Cable and his dad and his kind of mom there. And so, and then the cube came out and started talking, and I was like, this is kind of awkward, but I love the cube. I mean, it's like textbook Cable. So
yeah. I just love the Easter eggs for the character himself, because you already have a lot of these explanations for the character, and then you get these other minor Easter eggs that like the majority of people forget about.
Right.
Which a lot of the show and like care to these characters and the care that they love, but between Bo DiMaggio and the writing staff that he had, that they took this seriously, and they made something that was worthy of the fans.
Except he had too much eyeliner on.
He had a shit ton of eyeliner on in the fucking original, though.
I know.
We've all had a golf phase.
I'm like, look, you're not part of Kiss, all right? I need you to just like back off with the eyeliner.
Isn't it the tattoos from the hounds?
Yes, but they're really like in the comic, they're not as pronounced, and so it's like, okay, so it's just a lot.
I like the cube because last time we saw it was it fell out and Apocalypse got it.
Right.
Yeah.
So at some point they're going to explain, you know, kind of again. I was talking right before you got on. I was talking about your theory for Age of Extinction, and that next season you can easily go into Age of Extinction. You can easily go into House of M. There's so many storylines that you can just jump right into from here, especially with the events of what happened with Magneto. Oh God, House of M is just it's right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I do think that I'm upset that I didn't. Although you know, Val Cooper could still be Mystique, but I don't think she is because her arm was broken, and normally, if Mystique's in pain, that kind of messes with her.
Right.
Like, well, I don't know. She has before, like, been injured and stayed in character, so maybe she still is Mystique. My like.
At this point,
confidence in it is like 50%.
Yeah, at this point, I don't think she is Mystique just because of some of the actions that she's made. Aside from the only thing that would make sense is her siding with Magneto and saying, you know, Magneto was right, which is an Easter egg we're going to get into. So just before we jump all the way down there, next Easter egg that I have on here is the mention of the Sorcerer's Comertage.
I loved that. Loved that. That was so cool. And I was like, they're talking about Wong. It's Wong. But I don't. It probably was the ancient one.
But see, I thought it was dope that, like, you know, they're tying everything together that at this point we've learned, right? Like, so that your casuals that have only watched the movies are now going to understand this reference to Comertage, and it's not going to just be us. Like, oh my God, he's talking about the Sorcerer Supreme. He's talking about, you know, like, you know, references to other Marvel properties, right? As far as comic books go, it's at the point where you mention Comertage, and now all the casuals are going to be like, oh my God, he talked about, you know, Doctor Strange.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I don't think they were talking about Doctor Strange but I mean, maybe, I don't know. They say it's not canon. I've got to get my head around that. So,
but Strange was in Spider-Man, and this is where this universe takes place. So Strange is an absolute possibility.
Yeah. At this point, I feel like even though they said it's not canon, I think it's just not in the mainstream MCU, and this is an alternate universe because it 100% seems like this is going to tie into everything that's going on in the MCU at some point with Secret Wars.
Okay, I have a tangential but connected prediction.
Okay.
They're gonna go to in Secret Wars. They're gonna be transported into 97 world, and it's gonna be animated for like a couple scenes, and then they're gonna come back out and bring out some of them in live action.
Or they do that in Deadpool.
They could do that in Deadpool. I think Secret Wars maybe more. And just because, you know, they did that. They had that whole like animated thing in Mom, in Doctor Strange Mom. And so I totally could see that. That would be so cool. I want that to happen now. It won't, but I want it to. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah. I mean, I think this ties into my theory though.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm 100%
because we have Comertage, and then we have the fixed point that cannot change, which is exactly what I said a couple weeks ago.
Well, but they see they do bring up Nexus points in this, and they do talk about Nexus points. I think I have the Easter egg on there, but it is something that they've mentioned in the movies, especially with the multiverse saga going on. They've talked about the Nexus points, and they specifically talked about Genosha being a Nexus point.
Yeah.
Right, which I said a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right. We're all on the gravy train, so you know you're right. You're 100% correct. Great.
So how about Fox News and William Stryker being on screen? You got William Stryker basically talking about like his whole anti-mutant agenda and everything. So
yeah, I was just like, oh, here goes Stryker again.
Yeah.
Like,
I actually thought it was good. I thought it was good that we got William Stryker, and it's like, again, just broadening the universe and showing that William Stryker is still kind of like, somebody who has influence in this universe.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that also goes back to like Wolverine and the X20, the
X-23,
whole
yeah.
Weapon X thing. So, I mean, yeah, I enjoyed it.
So the next two Easter eggs are a big deal because this is something that Aaron brought up or actually I think Frey, you might have brought this up in the very first episode that we did of X-amining 97, and we were talking about how the Holocaust. Well, the Holocaust has never actually been mentioned in the animated series, and it's always been a
vaguely German-looking crew,
but more so like an atrocity that happened in a world war, and they never alluded to it being. They always try to make it ambiguous so that way the timelines could be what they needed to be, but they specifically made a Sinister makes a reference to Joseph Mengele, and talks about I knew Joseph Mengele, which puts them in a time period where he knew the Angel of Death. If you don't know who Joseph Mengele is, look it up and be sad. The dude killed a lot of people.
He really did.
Yeah. And not only that, linking Sinister to basically being a worse person than we already thought he was. Now he's associated with Nazis, right? But they also confirm that Magneto was a part of the Holocaust, and they show his Auschwitz tattoo.
Yeah, no, I was like really happy about that because they were so vague about it, and they had been throughout the first series and up until this point that I was like, finally. And I have it like Magneto could be, my dog's being cute, so if you can hear that, I apologize. But I feel like Magneto having access to the electromagnetic spectrum, he probably is very long lived. Like he's probably almost like immortal, not really immortal, but you know what I mean? Like he has the way he ages is different because of that, because he's so like in tune with Mother Earth kind of thing. And so I feel like you could rationalize him being in World War II and still look like he does in 97 with the luscious locks and everything.
Right. Well, same thing with Mr. Sinister because he's a mutate, it gives you it gives pause to Nathaniel being a lot older than you think he is.
Yeah, I do think that that's true too. I honestly believe that he could be like high evolutionary, like thousands of years old, and we wouldn't know.
Anybody else have any other thoughts on this before we move on?
We haven't heard from Ash for a while.
We're talking about shit, bro.
I know. Okay. How do I explain it? The thing that I said yesterday, I'm kind of, when you said right now, oh, they mentioned something that the general public, like, that's where I feel like I'm at. Because I unless it's like, hey, go get Court of Owls, like, I'm not going to know, like, full-on storylines.
Gotcha.
So this is my introduction to that. But I do like when we talk of House of M, like, I can go and get that, like, not the paperback, but the full-on.
Yeah, you can get the graphic novel. Yeah, I mean, and House of M, that's been something we've been predicting needs to be a part of the MCU once once X-Men become a part of the MCU, because we already have a lot of those characters in place. So it would be great to see a live action House of M, which is basically when like the big catastrophic moment in this is Scarlet Witch going, no more mutants, snapping, and all the mutants die.
Which you can see in WandaVision if you've seen it that they are like, it could be a next logical step because she kind of did that in a town where she made it whatever she wanted it to be, and that was subconsciously. So now that she knows she can do it, she could make lots of changes if she wanted.
And the whole thing is with that storyline, you find out that in that storyline, you find out technically Magneto's not their real father.
Correct.
Oh damn.
Yeah. And then they retcon it again later on. Because that's the way comic books work, right? But I mean, like, in that storyline, the big reveal was that the twins weren't his real children.
Yeah. All right, we've lost enough. Let's move on.
So we're moving on from there. So the next major thing that we have is the mention of Stark Expo when they go into Bastion's room.
Yeah.
Which I think is cool. Like, you go in, you get to see that the whole storyline at the beginning where we're talking about how he was birthed. Bastion, they find his childhood home. They go into the room and there's a flyer for Stark Expo.
Yeah, in a box. It's like almost like no, you know what you get at not what you get at like Disneyland, but like like what you might get at a comic book convention or something where it's got like a pamphlet type thing.
Right. And it's what's funny is the Easter egg on there is also talking specifically about robotics, which kind of further talks about like kind of what Bastion is. Like a weird comic book living robot.
Right.
Pepe surveyed his wall as a kid. Yes.
So the next Easter egg I know everybody's going to be excited for because I fucking giggled like a little girl when I when this happened on screen. So we get the Operation Zero Tolerance. Well, we get the Operation Zero Tolerance, like the members of the group, right? Yeah. And the first member that we see talking on screen is Victor fucking Von Doom.
That's Doctor to you.
Yeah, no. Fucking Victor Von Doom shows up on screen.
Victor, if you're nasty.
Victor is and I fucking squeed. I don't know about you guys, but as soon as I saw him, I was like, is that fucking Dr. Doom? Like I was so excited about it. Right?
I did too. I was like, oh. And then the next one was Zemo, and you're like, oh
yeah, same thing. Like Baron Zemo comes on screen, and you're just like, oh my god, like they are really putting all the OZT characters from the comics on this. Like they are not holding back on this. We are getting the actual characters, which in the MCU, they've in a lot of cases they have like changed characters around. Yeah, in order to fit what they have, and in this, you're getting the actual comic book version of it.
Yeah.
Or it's not to fit what they have, or it's like, hey, I heard Venom's really popular, put him in it, and he's not part of the original. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
they always trying to change. Like our discussion yesterday, like producers here, like, hey, they just did Carnage 3 years ago, throw in Carnage, why? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. Like in this case. We're getting the characters from the comic books that are a part of this, which is like also now at this point, I want to see the Illuminati in
that's exactly what I thought. I was like, who would really help? The Illuminati.
Yeah. Like I would love to see the Illuminati because you get Reed Richards, you get Tony Stark, you get Hank Pym. Like, I mean, it would just be really cool to see all of them together.
Well,
like
Doctor Strange was part of the Illuminati as well, right?
He was.
Yeah,
yes.
So.
Do you want to see a cameo or do you want to see a full-on storyline? Or do you want to see him in a room talking?
Like honestly, I would want to see. Yeah, I just want to see conversations. I would want to see like almost in this whole like style. I want to see World War Hulk.
Yeah, that would be cool. Well, I mean, like, not to spoil anything. Spoilers! That Charles is back. So, and he was part of the Illuminati
he's also part of the Illuminati, right?
So they could. It is entirely feasible that they could show up.
You know what's crazy is this, and this is getting into predictions. So I mean, like I'm already throwing this out there, but like I have to say it while it's in my mind, or I'm going to forget it. This could lead into the next season, like with the events of Operation Zero Tolerance. This could lead into the reason Charles gathers everybody to create the Illuminati.
That's true. Yeah.
In Tiamat's head.
Yes.
In Tiamat's head, yes. That's the excuse as to why Tiamat's head has been, or like Tiamat has been, still sticking out of the fucking ocean, and nobody said anything about it.
Well, I read some speculation that the third character in the Justice of the Hall of Doom was Killmonger.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I like that.
Yeah.
That would be good. Or what was the other guy that Circus played?
Dr. Claw.
Yes, Claw.
Oh, yeah. Ulysses S. Claw.
Yeah.
Ulysses S. Claw would be a good character in that lineup, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because he has no love for mutants.
No,
right.
At all.
I think with having Zemo, who is ruler of his country, right? And we have Doom. Maybe we have Killmonger with potentially someone that was broken up in Mother Russia later in this episode.
Oh my god! It's another moment where I fucking squeed like crazy, man. I was like, no, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
In the movies, he holds the mask, but he never puts on the mask, right? Or am I tripping?
No, in the movies, he doesn't wear the mask. He wears the mask in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, okay, for like half a minute or something.
Yeah.
After his sweet dance moves.
It's hot in here.
It was usually like he wore it like it was a combat mask. So anytime like he was like in a fight,
yeah,
he would put the mask on. Yeah.
And it's like, why would you have a purple combat mask? It just makes no sense. Anyway.
But I think to go into with Phil's thing is that we have this injunction to the conversation, the conference call with all these leaders of other countries, that they would be the perfect team to go against the Illuminati because they're representing different factions and different groups, and you have the opposition being the Illuminati separating the good side of those same groups.
It's crazy because a lot of the characters that are a part of OZT are also like heads of state. So they're like bad guy characters, but they're also heads of state. So it's like, you have those characters. Like again, like you mentioned, Baron Zemo, is literally a baron of the country that he's from. Dr. Doom, Latveria. I mean, like you have all these characters that are heads of state. So you go up against somebody like a team like the Illuminati, who are supposed to be the enlightened ones, right? Like so. Which the thing about the Illuminati is they're just like Professor Xavier. They are a very ambiguous team that is not necessarily good guys, but also not bad guys. So
yeah,
at least their choices aren't exactly the choices that good guys make.
Shadow governments.
Yeah, that's literally it. Which is why they're the Illuminati.
Right, exactly. So every time morphs into somebody, he did Juggernaut, and I know that's our next one. Husby goes, when did so-and-so get here? And I have to say, every single time I have to go, that's more. Like, every time I go, that's more.
So, no, he gets hit and lands on something, or lands and falls down. I'm like, oh, it's Morph.
And it's Morph, right? When scene happened, that's literally my thought. I was like, did I just miss something? I almost rewinded it because I was just like, when the fuck did Juggernaut get here? Right? I was like, he's just here all of a sudden, and then he gets thrown through a wall, and it's like, oh, it's Morph. Okay.
I was just like, every time, it's Morph.
Well, do you remember this is dating myself here, about 15 years ago? Nope, Chuck Testa. It's nope, Morph.
Yeah, I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
Now, with Juggernaut, though, I have to ask everyone, how do you feel? What would he get from being Juggernaut?
Nothing, because he doesn't have the strength that Juggernaut has. He's just size a big dude, but I mean, like, remember, because he's not a mutant. He gets his power from a
crystal.
From a crystal.
Yes, but it's explicitly stated that Morph cannot take the powers of mutants. Didn't say anything about non-mutants, and he's not a mutant.
That's true. He's not.
Okay.
But I also find it appropriate that Juggernaut there with the mansion getting destroyed because he destroys the mansion the first time.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. Get out the way.
It would be a rotation of turning myself into Ryan Reynolds or Keanu and going to clubs. That's all it would be.
Yeah.
Fuck out of my way, Charles. What the fuck you doing, Charles? Why are you looking at me like that, Charles? Do you guys ever watch those Juggernaut videos?
Yes.
That's where the meme for "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch" came from. There's all that. It was like, fuck out my way, I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. What the fuck you looking at, Charles? I'm gonna fuck you up, Charles.
Oh man, but we should really not go to malls anymore, guys.
We should. This Easter egg, it was almost a blink and you miss it moment kind of thing, but like it's basically mirroring the first episode of X-Men.
Night of the Sentinels. Yep.
Night of the Sentinels, exactly. That basically they're getting attacked by these fucking by these Nimrods, and or I guess they're not Nimrods.
No, they were just regular Sentinels.
Well, no, I'm saying the these ones in this episode, they're
human,
the super Sentinels, whatever they are.
Human sentries, right?
Human sentries.
Yeah.
And it's basically the same exact thing because in the first episode she's getting attacked by Sentinels. So it's like I really should. I'm so done with malls.
I think she should have known that prior to this.
I know. She did get a new costume though.
Yeah.
She didn't even pay for it.
Right?
Well, because the
salesperson.
No, I keep wanting to say Australian. The Brazilian butler was
Jeeves.
like
Let's call him Brazilian Jeeves.
Brazilian Jeeves basically turned into a sentinel and started trying to kill everybody. So it was just like, you know what? The salesperson was like, no, I'm cool. I'm out. I ain't trying to get killed.
Right. It's like, no.
So remember, folks, if you ever want to steal something, Sentinels, and just run out within the clothes.
What I learned from it.
Oh man. So this one, I definitely want thoughts from everybody on this one. But you guys catch all the James Bond references in this?
I had no idea.
Okay, so there's a couple of them in here, right? So there's when Wolverine is flying through the air and he's fighting the Sentinels in the air. Right, that's the scene from Moonraker.
Oh, okay.
I don't recall James Bond getting claws and fighting Sentinels.
Well, no, but the scene from Moonraker is he's free falling and he's fighting a bunch of people while free falling.
It is what I wanted to see, though.
Yeah.
I wanted him to take out I didn't want it to be him just like, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do, but like I wanted him to, you know what I mean? It was exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, the car chase scene with the Summers, you don't mess with Summers, right? That's from Goldmember.
Yeah.
It basically mirrors the same exact car chase scene.
Wait, Goldmember wasn't that?
Who figured that out?
That was Austin.
Goldfinger. Sorry.
Goldfinger. Okay, I was like, Goldmember was like Austin.
Oh no,
Powers.
I know what he's looking at. It does in fact say Goldmember.
It does say Goldmember, but no, it is Goldfinger though. Sorry.
Okay. I was like, that's not.
Yeah,
but
it's a
on that Porsche though. His license plate is Slim, which was the Slim Summers.
Yeah, so when he busts out the Porsche, did you guys immediately go, "Fuck, is he driving a Porsche?"
No.
I did. I was like, that looks like a fucking Porsche Carrera. Is he driving a Porsche? And he goes, "You have a Porsche?" I'm like, it was a Porsche. I knew it.
Why would he bring a Porsche on easily the world's most blow-upable plane?
Right? I was like,
right?
Cyclops 3, Blackbird 0. Come
on. Easter egg that I don't have on this list, but the fact that she says this is the third plane you've blown up in just as many months, and I was like, oh my god, it's the same reference from Deadpool. That's like when he tells Colossus.
He's going to the mansion. This has been up like 8 times.
He goes, it's like you live in a mansion that gets destroyed all the time. He goes, mansion destroyed gives it character.
Like I paper mache at this point in time.
Right?
Because the Sentinel basically just like spit in the wind and it went inside of the inside of the jet, and it just like got destroyed.
Yeah, it was hilarious. Yeah, the mom in Jean Grey in this episode was so strong.
Just putting the seatbelt on him.
Yeah, and then going, Lisa's gonna be mad at you. You've destroyed this thing 3 times in 3 months. You know, I mean, it's like I was like, wow, come on, Mama Jean. Let's
the both of them, Jean and Scott, were basically like full parent mode the entire time.
Yeah,
and I love that. Like the entire time, like I'm just thinking like Nathan has to be sitting there saying like, "Are you guys serious trying to be parents now?"
It's like I didn't come back for this.
Yeah.
He's older than them.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's like, "Are you seriously trying to be parents now? You were not my parents my entire life."
But they had that. They even had that reference where like he's not talking to me. Like they even had that angry thing. So they, yeah, I get it.
You totally from every time I come in here. Well. Why? Because he's got daddy issues because he never had a dad.
Well, okay, so I have to go to that point with it blowing up. Is Scott going, they never leave a Summers behind? That is bullshit. That's Summers bullshit. Do nothing but leave Summers behind.
Starting with Corsair. Corsair abandoned all of his children. Scott abandoned Nathan. They all abandoned each other. That's why I talk so much shit about Scott. It's because Summers' legacy.
We don't know how far back it goes. It could go back much further.
It can. That might be why Corsair went to space.
Exactly. I mean, let's face it. Scott was essentially the type of Summers parent goes, "Oh man, I have to watch my kid, but ice cream."
Ooh, shiny
thing. Right.
Or as my grandma used to parent me, "Be where I can see you."
Right. Yeah.
What happened to this? What happened to Ash? Oh.
So I told him to be where I can see him.
I know, right? God. So speaking of badass family members, let's move on to specifically Rogue's family member in fucking
everyone's
Kurt
favorite
Wagner.
devil German priest. Yes.
Oh my God, Kurt Wagner being the most badass character in this entire. I thought Wolverine was badass, especially with the. I have 6 reasons that you need to get out of my way club, right?
Well, and then Nightcrawler goes, no, 9.
And then comes out with
like,
3
swords.
Not
just do that.
But like, what made it even cooler was anyone expecting him to bust out with the tail sword, because that's like a very rare thing you see in the comics, and I'm like, dude, he's got the tail sword.
I expected it.
Yeah. You know, he had the tail sword, he had the 2 regular swords, and then he just bamfs and destroys everybody in the room.
They do this in a way too where it doesn't come off cheesy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like all these other Fox Kids ones, like he says something like that, but it comes off all like, hey, like it doesn't come off the way like he would say it. Like you don't feel threatened. That I felt threatened.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he seemed like the kind of dude that was going to go and wreck shop. Like you could tell the amount of confidence that Kurt had. You knew that he was like, he's coming in to destroy everybody.
Well, he was swashbuckling, and that's exactly who Kurt is.
Right.
But also the rapport between Kurt and Logan.
Yeah.
So it was just like it so reminded me of the comics, like how they are in the comics, and I loved that. I was just like, oh, this is so. I love it. Oh, because Kurt's one of my favorites. So
yeah, Kurt is a lot of people's favorite. Like one of the things I also liked about like the fight is, you know, kind of like the random bamfing Wolverine around the room, and then Wolverine destroying stuff, and then as soon as he's about to get hit, he bamfs him out again. And it's like, holy shit, this is like exactly the way they fight in the comics. I love this.
Well, and then we get to see the band. We
get
to see what it looks like.
That blew my mind. I had I never thought twice. Like I've never thought to think like, what does a bamf look like when you're in it? Right. Yeah. And Wolverine being bamfed, and then like it's almost slow motioning to him just being like, what the hell is happening? Bamf, you're outside. Right.
Yeah, it was like, I was like, that was so cool. We both husband and I were like, that was so well done. That was so cool.
Yeah.
And
but
the transitions were good too.
He should have just bamfed with the people and left him in the hell dimension and not brought them back.
Yeah.
Oh man, we cut them up good. Oh wait, they're reassembling. If only I had some pocket hell dimension I can travel through.
Do you remember when Nightcrawler goes into, I think it's part 2, when he's attacking the White House?
Yes.
Boom, and he just shows up. Boom. I felt that too because he would just show up, stab you, and then go into the next guy and go to the next guy.
Yeah,
oh, it was
that
great.
scene was dope. That's probably the only scene. Like, again, I'm not a fan of the X-Men movies, but that scene was something that was like just amazing to me. Is when just that fight scene and the way that he handled himself in those fights, like that the way they filmed that was masterfully done.
Yes, yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah,
especially that like the technology wasn't where it is now.
Yeah,
so you got to think about what they're going to do now.
Right.
I mean, for sure. But I mean, speaking of things that travel in style.
Oh yeah. So, right. So, you kind of mentioned this earlier, right? About Bastion believing that he is the savior of the world, that he believes that the world is on his shoulders.
But so does Kanye.
Yeah.
He's right all the time.
Yeah, but Kanye doesn't have Doom and Zemo backing him.
Yeah, the thing is, he kind of does. I mean, he has Nick Fuentes guy that's got his back, and I mean that guy is pretty much Dr. Who's no? I guess Nick Fuentes if he's anybody, he's Mr. Sinister because he's a Nazi that doesn't like anybody.
That's true.
Damn.
Absolutely.
Right.
They go dark, we go dark.
Yeah.
But do you find it just like very pretentious that he pulls up with the car with Atlas on there and then goes, you know what? I forgot something. Just open this portal. I could just have instantaneously been in front of the mansion. It's like, no, I'm driving up in my motherfucking car.
It is very pretentious that he gets in the car and then uses a portal to go somewhere else. Because it's like,
it's just like, all right, dude, we know you have power.
But the other thing is he comes off pretentious no matter what he does. He comes off very arrogant. And that's something that you kind of pick up on him like right off the bat is that he is very arrogant.
Oh, definitely.
I honestly thought it was going to be a storyline too when Sebastian was a difficult birth. I thought it was going to be one of those like, you guys just don't understand him, or like one of those like moms that are like, you know what I mean, like those overprotective moms of like, okay, I see that you're destroying the world, you're destroying the world, but I mean, you're still my son. You know what I mean? Like,
and then you find out that his mom's a robot, so it's like,
and that like it shows you how removed from humanity Bastion is. Like he has no connection. Absolutely. And so I thought that was really well done as well. I mean, I knew it was going to happen, but I was like, that was really well done the way they did it. I just thought that was, and the picture that he did when he was 16 and all that. I was like, wow, that tells you everything.
Right.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
The cracking of bones and the eyes glaring. Nobody got disturbing behavior vibes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I as soon as you start hearing the cracking and like the kind of robotic noises, it just kind of gave me just like.
Oh, you mean ASMR? I got some ASMR from it, but.
Well, I mean, for me, it's very Dead-Eye from Evil Dead because they contort and crack, and it's always a good physical change.
Yeah,
it is also in disturbing behavior as well. Especially with the eyes, because like in classic horror movies, when someone's possessed or becomes a demon, it's always like, my God, what happened to their eyes? And these Prime Sentinels, we have the eye changes too. It's always kind of the same thing,
right?
Which brings us into how right Magneto was.
Oh my God! Okay, so there's so much in one line that happens in this. So, harkening back to the Fatal Attraction storyline, right? Like we're getting Magneto amplifying his power in the North Pole, destroys the Sentinels, and it's like, holy shit! It's showing how powerful he is. But like the whole thing being that, Valerie Cooper says Magneto was right. Yep. And just kind of like going back on that, humanity is. They're trying to destroy another race of people because they don't understand them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the whole thing is, it's just kind of proving that, there are so many people within humanity that are complete monsters. And Magneto is right to hate them for the way that he does. In the comics, in the Fall of Genosha, this was like the way that you kind of get Magneto back, but we kind of already knew Magneto was back at this point.
Yeah.
But then also with all of this too, it's just proving that Magneto is done. You know, he tried to do things the way that Xavier wanted them. He tried to do things the way that he thought would have been the right way because he thought Xavier was right to an extent. But at the same time, Bastion proved to him that he was right the entire time.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we get all the like little cameos. We get the Spider-Man because New York is blacked out, and then we get Silver Samurai when you see like Tokyo Jet blacking out, and then we get Omega Red because his containment field was turned off. And
I thought it was again. I squeed because you see his hand, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, that's Omega Red. That's Omega Red. And then you see the tentacle come out. I'm like, it's Omega Red.
Yes.
Omega Red is one of my favorite villains. Of course, behind Apocalypse. Apocalypse is my all-time favorite. But like, Omega Red is such a fun and interesting character. You know, and just kind of the way that he does things. I mean, technically, Omega Red was also in Deadpool 2. Just because he had the collar on, you couldn't see the tentacles and all that. But like, yeah, there's a scene where he pops up and you know exactly who it is.
Well, I mean, we really should have called the Wolverine and his enemies he makes in every country he goes to. Right?
Yeah. So, Silver Samurai is another one. Again, we've gotten a live action Silver Samurai, which I wasn't a huge. That movie was decent until that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know,
but what happened between Wolverine and Spider-Man? What did Spider-Man do to Wolverine's girlfriend?
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, look.
That was old shit.
He kind of just punched her to death in one punch. He exploded her essentially.
He one punch man her.
And two, them being released, even if they don't show them, that's their like, you know what I mean? We could get Omega Red season 3 because they have season 2 planned out. You know what I mean? Like it could be just little nods of like, you know,
it's just they're out there. They're out there now. Get ready.
They could be here at any time.
Well, we had a storyline with Omega Red was it season 3 of X-Men?
We had 2 of them.
Yeah.
He got Storm frosted him to death in one of them, and they unfrosted it. He ended at the bottom of the ocean in a nuclear submarine.
Mm-hmm.
Was the last time we saw him.
Right. So like, you know, like we've gotten storylines with Omega Red. It's just Omega Red is a massive problem that they haven't really like kind of dove into a lot. You know, same thing like, you know, we've gotten a lot of Apocalypse, but we really haven't gotten him as like the big bad for a season, you know, doing Age of Extinction in itself, because now you're forcing the Brotherhood and the X-Men to work together. You know, the other thing is we have to get the reestablishment of the Brotherhood in order to do Age of Extinction. But I mean, it's not like they don't show the Brotherhood at the beginning in the opening credits and everything. So we know that, you know, the Brotherhood is going to come back at some point.
Well, I just want to see Omega Red go against Red Guardian.
Yeah, that would be funny.
I want to see what's the bear's name?
The Bear.
No, his name isn't the Bear, but I mean like
it's like USS R something.
Yeah,
it's not Ursa Minor.
Ursa Minor.
That's
who it is. Right?
Damn.
I want to see Omega Red and Ursa Minor go at it because
There
Ursa
you go.
Minor's got, like, you know, he's a bear, but he's got super strength. So like,
well, he was in the Deadpool Wolverine trailer, so there's that.
Was Ursa Minor in the trailer?
Yeah, he was in front of the giant Ant-Man head.
I didn't know Ursa Minor was in the trailer.
I didn't see him, but I wasn't like, I was so like, oh, that's Ant-Man's head kind of.
He was guy on the right that was wearing the stripes, the red and white striped shirt.
Oh, because no, supposedly that's supposed to be the Russian.
That's the Russian?
That's supposed to be the Russian from the Punisher.
Oh, okay.
Is it Kevin Nash or is it? It's not Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash, but I mean, it'd be dope if it was Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash played.
He got stabbed in Punisher. Might as well make it worth his while.
You know, he got stabbed for real in that scene, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Make it worth his. You know, they gave him Magic Mike. Give him something else.
Yeah, he talks about it in an interview where he was like, it's like the worst pain that he had ever had in his life, but he was at the point where like he was in such shock that he just played it off. and broke the knife off and then just threw it and kept going. They said as soon as they called cut on that, he like went, he like he curled up like a little baby. He was like, take it out, take it out. But they were like just a testament of how good of an actor he was that nobody realized that it was a real knife until they called cut.
That's a HIPAA violation.
That's a rant in itself. But there's so many accidents that stuff happens. Like, how do they not learn? Like, let's just gun check, knife check, everything.
Yeah,
it's it's called money.
Oh yeah,
just because if he died, that would have been a whole other. It would have been the Alec Baldwin shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was it was a like it was like a genuine mistake on that one though. Like I forgot, he explained what happened, and he was like, I hold no ire towards anybody. It was an honest mistake. It was something about like the fake knife and the real knife like looked really, really similar.
So if only there's a way to test that.
No real knives. Just don't have any real knives on the set, and it won't happen.
Yeah. But okay, so jumping into the last Easter egg right here, which is like one of the biggest Easter eggs at the end of the episode.
I want to say it.
Please.
To me, my X-Men.
So, and I guess there's more Easter eggs than just that, but I mean, like the ship essentially crash lands, and when he emerges from the ship, he's wearing that SHIR suit
that makes him look like a freaking bug.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's got the Mantis helmet, right? Like that helmet that we haven't seen since like the third season of X-Men,
which is a bold statement choice for bird people that only like to have bird helmets.
Yeah, I'm sure Bird Person's pissed off.
As soon as we saw him, I was like, "It's Bird Person."
My only stickler thing about that is, because we're in that part, is that like, where's Xavier when you need him? And he fucking shows you haven't seen this motherfucker in so long, and you say that one line, and I'm such a nerd that I would be like, nobody heard me say that. Nobody heard me say that.
That's when you go, I would love $1 million. Like that should have been the next thing.
Like Chandler.
As soon as
or check to see if I was Spider-Man.
You're like, wait a minute, I have luck powers now.
Exactly.
That's my third mutation.
I totally would have turned into Chandler for that. Nobody.
He walks up. I mean, he just like basically takes the helmet off and goes, "To me, my X-Men," and that's the moment we see Storm. So
yeah, because she's
Cyclops on me,
there.
right? On me, my X-Men, or is it the same line?
No, he says
the very first
me,
episode.
Yeah.
To me,
and
on
then,
me or to me? Oh, to me.
To me. And then Magneto says it too in that first episode.
So does Cyclops. Cyclops says, "To me, my X-Men."
Right. I said both.
Freaking hose down that's a poster, man.
Yeah. I want to say this season of X-Men has said "To me, my X-Men" more than the entirety of the first run of that show.
Yeah.
It's gonna be my safe word.
Yeah, to me, my X-Men. Storm. Wait, that's the wrong one.
Aurora, I need you now.
I told you, don't call me that.
But the thing that wasn't in here that I wanted to mention just real quick is how Kurt told the story of him and Rogue.
Yes.
And how like he was like, yeah, Mystique left me because I was too blue.
Yeah.
And
he even referred to her as his mom.
Yeah. It's been canon for a while in the comics, but they kind of flirted with it for a while in the first one, but they never really said exactly what happened. So to have Kurt talk about it while Rogue is, passed out.
Yeah.
That was really cool. I was like, that's such a cool moment. And I like that they can have these really cool, fun things, but then they can have those really small moments that make it. And then also Rachel Summers. Rachel Summers showed up. She was in the episode and I was for it.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
The "I'm too blue" line, because Mystique is blue.
Right.
Is that going to be do you feel like that'll be a story of why she always changes into something else?
I don't think it is. I think it's from his perspective that she left him because he was too blue. I think more than anything, it was that she didn't think she could take care of him and keep him safe.
Mm-hmm.
She could change, but he couldn't.
So just abandon him for sure.
Yeah. So
you have to remember.
She left him on a doorstep in a monastery. So
right.
That's why he's so.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So
you also have to remember that it's a trait for Mystique because she's always on the move. She's always moving around. So she probably didn't believe that she could be a mother for him. Hence,
father.
And anything.
She's his dad. Yeah. Destiny's his mom. That's canon.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the
for now.
Yeah.
Right until
like she probably didn't believe that she could be any kind of parent to him, and the best thing for him was to give him to a monastery.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, and the same thing with technically her being Rogue's parent too. So I mean, like that's just and like I said, technicalities, right? So so I mean, there's a lot that goes on with all of this, and I love that they're taking comic book storylines, doing minor retcons in the story that X-Men told in the comics or in the cartoons, and they're basically making everything closer to the comics.
Mm-hmm. That, and if it's not, they're gonna do a storyline to tell you, oh, that's not Magneto's son or whatever. Like they'll do it as a story as opposed to like, this is what's working, this is what's not working.
Well, the other thing is we've seen Pietro this season, like Morph
that
turned
was
into.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Morph turned into Quicksilver, so we know that Quicksilver is in existence in this world, right? I mean, Quicksilver was in an episode in the original series too, but I mean, like,
okay, well, Quicksilver, he was running fast, but it would be funny if he turned into Quicksilver and he's just running all slow as fuck.
if he kind of just like jogged in, he's like fast as fuck,
and you're like, I can run faster than that. Like, I was like, ow, I got a cramp.
So with that being said, guys, let's get into our ratings for this episode before we jump into predictions. All right, so Ash, you've got you've learned how we do our rating system here, right? Okay. We're gonna actually start here. Let me see, who do I have in my list? Frey, we get to start with you.
Oh, okay. You give me like the cherry pick too. Like I got all the stuff I can say. All right, I'm gonna give this episode 10. Everyone in pink. Because there was so much pink in this episode.
There was.
It was like, this is the pink episode. 10 pink episodes out of 10. Oh my God, we got Rachel Summers, y'all.
Ash, what is your rating on this?
I thought I had the rating system down, and now I'm gonna stick with what I was gonna say. I'm gonna go 10 Batman 89 out of 10 Dark Knight.
Okay. No, I get it. I understand that. Yeah.
Graveyard, what is your rating, sir?
10 destroyed by Wolverine TVs.
Fuck! We'll get this. We'll get this.
Out of 10 Prime Sentinels just ripped to shreds by Wolverine.
Cam in the chat saying 10 Von Dooms out of 10 Spidermans.
Spiderman.
Ash, so the idea behind this is it's whatever your number is, random thing from the property we're talking about.
Got it.
Out of 10 random thing, whatever's on there, and just make it as funny as you can think of.
Got it.
Right. So just to kind of jump on that, I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna give this 10 Kurtz with swords, randomly just showing everybody how badass he is.
That's what the BAM stands for.
Yeah, exactly. Out of 10 Summers abandonment issues.
I see. That's where I guess I got confused because it's like a positive and a negative. You know what I mean? Like, okay, got it.
Yeah, it's like I just like stuff that I want to say in the episode, but I'm like, I don't think it's worthy enough for conversation a lot. So I'll just say, like, I noticed there was a lot of pink in the episode, so I'm gonna mention that, because hello.
I've been saving the Summer's Abandonment issue one since we had that conversation.
I figured you.
And it's mainly because, again, so like in the rating system, right? I always try to do out of 10 whatever the funnier line is going to be, right? Like 10 Summer's Abandonment issues that nobody's not.
Ultimately, the rating is 6 out of 10 or 10 out of 10, but
right.
it's what you come up with after.
Yeah.
Got it.
Right.
Yeah, Shadu does some really esoteric ones when we do it. He comes up with like this, like the most odd things, but they work.
Yeah.
So
if Aaron Thicke ever makes his way back to the show, he's the one that like kind of created this rating system. And Aaron Thicke, because he's an improv comedian, comes up with the weirdest and funniest shit. Nice. It is great. I mean, given you're a comedian, man, I have faith that you're going to come up with some funny shit. So.
Yes.
And then Say Wong saying 8.5 Tony Starks out of 10 shields.
What half are you keeping there, Say Wong?
Yeah, the shields.
Prediction time?
Prediction time. So however you guys want to do this here, what are your predictions for the next 2 episodes? What do you guys think? Aside from obviously they're doing the OZT storyline, but I mean, like, what do you guys think is going to happen in the next couple of episodes here?
Onslaught. I think we are going to get Onslaught. I think that's the the big goal, and they'll have to face Onslaught. I really like the whole Illuminati thing. I think we might start seeing the start of that. Like, they've already mentioned Carmitage, so we could get a Doctor Strange coming out.
Expo.
We need Namor. We need Black Bolt.
Yeah, I mean, but I think that it could be done. I don't think, and they could not do Black Bolt, and they could put Black Panther in there. They could, there are other people that could get involved. If they're
Black
doing,
Panther lives in the universe. He was a character in season 2, I think.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, if they don't want to go that way, they could actually. There are other characters that they could bring in that would take his place. But no, I think that absolutely. I think that we could get that. It is a wealth of stories that they could tell, and it could be a backdoor spinoff,
right?
And because they're globaling it with Von Doom and freaking Baron, Purple over there. So
Purple,
but he looked so.
That was his original name.
Baron Purple. He smells like snails.
Just smelling your own breath the whole time.
No, the color purple originated from they took snail shells and they crushed them up and dyed the garments purple for the royals. Anyway, that was your little history lesson with Frey. But no, I think that's good.
Grave, what are your predictions going on for the next 2 episodes?
My prediction still from last time is still going to be there. We already talked about the Nexus event. That's going to be an unchangeable thing. I expect that. Do you remember the guy that was essentially in one man's worth? The guy that brought Nimrod back to the past.
Right.
The guy with the metal arms, right? The sleeveless green vest, his little mohawk dude. I think he'll be back because he is a quintessential part of Nimrod and then therefore Bastion.
Interesting.
And I say, we'll still say the Nexus event has happened and Gambit is unfortunately dead.
Okay. No, I dig that. I like it.
Maximum effort.
Ash, what is your prediction for the next 2 episodes here?
Again, I don't know storylines, but I will say the cliffhanger is we get Gambit back.
Okay.
As something. Maybe Cable brings him back. Something. Or if we finally get Bishop, because there was that question. of why didn't Bishop come back with Cable?
Right.
So maybe that.
And he was billed as a main character for this season, so I mean, it's not not out of the realm of possibility to have him come back. Say Wong said, "White Nick Fury returns."
The Hoff himself.
Oh God,
there should be like it's. I mean, there's a million different universes, and that's a universe, and that's a universe. It doesn't matter.
Well, in the Spider-Man cartoon, he was white.
He was white. See, in this universe, he's a white dude. So
on my Marvel 1 card, he was white with the patch.
Well, he wasn't. He wasn't black until the early '90s.
Yeah,
and that was still a new thing. You know, like and then they it was in the Ultimates comics. And then when they did the movies, they were like, we want to do the Ultimates version because the comic version, this comic version was based on Samuel L. Jackson to begin with. And Samuel L. Jackson's still an actor. We want to see if he wants to come and play the character. And he was like, yeah, absolutely. I want to go and play.
He was like, what did y'all motherfuckers say? Oh,
I want to play Nick Terry.
What he said.
Tired of these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking X-wing.
I couldn't do the one that's him and the guy that plays Bob Marley. I got 2 episodes in, and it's kind of like but that's not a tangent.
Secret Invasion. Yeah.
Yeah. No, maybe 3 episodes. Anyway, moving on. That's the only thing I could guess. My guess is that it's still going to leave off on a cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
But what's amazing though is they do have more time because there's no commercials. We don't have to do 2.5 minutes and leave on a cliffhanger and nothing gets done. Like they're finishing episodes. If it's 33, if it's 45, whatever the heck it is, like it's going to be done for that specific story.
Right.
And that's amazing. So there's just not the criteria or restrictions of that BS.
Absolutely.
For no drug use.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no, that's good.
It's really pissing me off to no end.
It's also very grown up. There was a lot of things that are like, I mean, I don't have any kids, but I kind of would have looked when the freaking the claws come through and he shreds him. I was kind of like, I don't know if I would have my kids see that, but at the same time, I am the cool uncle.
He's killing
robots. That shit.
He says, as long as he's not killing a person, he's killing robots. It's fine.
Absolutely, it's the same thing with the foot.
People.
Robots are people too.
All right, Phil, what about you?
So my prediction, I've actually been like throwing them all around the entire episode here. I feel like, I've been talking about the Illuminati. I feel like that is a good way to establish the Illuminati moving into the next season. I believe that in order to move into Age of Extinction, we need to either establish that the Brotherhood is coming back, or they're going to have to do that at the beginning of next season. That it's been a couple of months and Magneto has restored the Brotherhood. Because again, with Age of Extinction, you need those two factions to work together in order to fight Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Also, I have such a weird thing. I know you're talking. I apologize, but this is one of those. If I don't say it now, I'll forget it.
Go for it.
Why is it always Wolverine and Magneto that get naked?
Why not?
They both were like,
you gotta go with what sells.
And Magneto was in like fucking Speedo for like a majority of this episode.
That was
To be fair, Gambit should be more naked.
Well, he's not with us anymore, so that would be weird. And creepy.
No, it's.
But he does do the pink thing, so he would have fit in with this episode.
Exactly. And again, towards given that we have 2 episodes left, I think that we are going to get Mag Daddy and Claw Daddy. Fucking change.
Are they working on season 2 now, or are they waiting to see what's going to happen?
They're waiting on it.
Well, no.
Okay, because that's going to be a whole other year then. Sorry. You know what I mean? Like we wait for it, and then like now we're waiting for like the same thing with the Lord of the Rings thing. Like it worked. Let's do something else with season 2, and now it's we're losing interest by the day.
Yep.
Sorry.
He's an ass.
No, you're
I like
fine.
the hat better than yesterday. Because it's not a Dodgers hat.
Oh my god!
Any other predictions, Phil?
Yeah. So I was kind of getting at I believe that we're gonna get more Cable in this. We're probably gonna get Forge. I mean, we're probably gonna get kind of like members of X-Force.
Oh yeah.
You know, kind of like we may get like, it's not going to be like a full X-Force like reunion. We're not going to get like a whole X-Force thing, but I think that James said that it has been greenlit, and season 3 has also been greenlit.
Yeah, they talked about it in 2022 at San Diego Comic-Con. I was looking it up as well.
No worries. But I feel like we're probably going to get like a mini X-Force reunion. And they're going to be like the ultimate, like kind of like, that's going to be a good fight scene. And plus you're going to get that team up with the X-Men and the X-Force.
And then X-Factor and then Excalibur.
Well, let me ask you this. Considering we have someone that is a Beast love interest that has been changed into a Prime Sentinel,
right?
Will Forge come in here to cure the technovirus then that they are infected with?
I believe,
what, with the group or with what? Or what how does
because his mutant power is ability to change machinery, and these are essentially advanced machines.
Oh,
he is one that kind of does time travel, worse than technovirus in the future during Bishop's time.
Yeah.
And they're not going to let these people be dead or not, and they're not going to say Sentinel. So they're going to have to, something's going to have to happen with them. I think Forge is the perfect place to build his prediction for him to come in here and show his true prowess as the tech mutant that he is.
Damn.
Right. And that's the thing is, like, have Forge do that, but then at the same time, the explanation to where he can't help Nathan is because, Nathan, you've had it since birth, whereas they've just contracted it. So I can do something that's short term, but I can't cure someone who's had it as long as you have. And that also, like, that plays into the storyline of, again, if Nathan didn't have the virus, he would be X-Man, who is the most powerful telepath in existence.
Oh, I forgot about X-Man.
Yeah, because the only reason that he's not a powerful telepath is because he's using all of his telepathic power to stop the virus from killing him.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why he has big gun and shoot.
Yeah.
Bang,
pew,
bang.
Pew.
Yeah, it's all that telepathic power that makes him so massive and makes him make his dad look like he's tiny.
He's slim.
I'm not sure what it is, but it looks like you're being stabbed through the shoulder. I don't know if it's the connection between your.
Yeah, it's your it's the arm of your your mic.
There it is.
Well, guys, that is it for this week's X-amining 97. I'd like to thank my illustrious panel of guests here. Before we let everybody go, of course, I want to know all of your pluggables, guys. Frey, since you're the first on my list right now, please give me your pluggables.
I do this so much. You'd think I would be so good at it, but I'm not. I'm on Kyber Cave for Nerd Out. We're doing a show called New Order because apparently I can only be on shows that have an N and an O in the title. And so that's coming out. I have my own channel called Frey Girl. You can catch me there. I have my shorts are mostly corgis because they have short legs, so it was kind of a meta thing. Anyway, and I don't really like to film them more than a minute. And so there's that. I also do a show with Shadu called Classified, where we take your favorite fandoms and classify them into D&D classes, Dungeons and Dragons classes. Right. And then we have a sister show called Journals of the Classes, which is actually starting to wrap up. We just did Cite Your Sorcerer on Sorcerers. And then after that, I think we've got a couple more. And then we'll have another sister show to our classified show in the D&D world there. And so fun stuff coming up.
Awesome. Ash, give us all of your pluggables, especially the fact that you have some stand-up coming up. Let everybody know where they can find you, man.
I do. Okay, so that's my name on Instagram. And then I saw that you guys have that nifty can be found at under the whole time. And now I'm going to nerd out and try to figure out how that happens. But I am at on YouTube. We're doing a show on Thursdays called Comics Podcast, and that's similar to the show or the yesterday show where we're just doing the nerd news. And Mondays we do mostly movie trivia, which next month we just did Star Wars: A New Hope. Next month is going to be Tommy Boy and Demolition Man game night, and the winner's choice of Star Wars is going to pick a movie for next month. So that's on Monday nights, and on Monday nights is an open forum. Everybody is absolutely invited, as long as you're not a dick. But you're absolutely invited. Everybody can play. We split up into teams, and we just as many people that can fit in the room. I think it's 10, and then from then on. But my stand-up, I'm doing stand-up this Saturday in Hermosa Beach, called At Second Story Theater. That's the one time I'm headlining. It's the first time I'm headlining. It's a fucking really big honor for myself. Yeah, I've never headlined before.
I've got something for this. Hold on. I've got something for this. And then also, hopefully, you get a lot of this.
Hopefully.
Yes, we have our own laugh track.
And then on next Thursday is at Downey, a place called Stardust, and it's just a 2-drink minimum. If you want tickets, if you're in the Los Angeles area and you want to do the tickets, that is www.removisiongroup.org. And then just make sure you choose my name, because it's one of those like, who are you here to see? So they can kind of gauge everything. So, but it's my first time headlining, and it's a really big deal because I've not done a lot of shows, but I've done successful shows.
Awesome, man.
Big symbol. I hate that you changed that. Did you ever say change it? You changed that.
I did. I was hoping that you were going to notice that I did that. Graveyard. Tell everybody where they can find you, sir, because we all know where we can find you.
We all know.
Everywhere.
Okay. I am everywhere that you want to be. Now, I'm Graveyard Coast, the Mostly Pod Out Night, Mostly podcast.
Mostly
Pod.
Night. Mostly.
New episodes are every Wednesday over at Comic Con Radio, where hopefully the show appears as well. We have a new show, not new anymore, but we just their 20th episode where we had the writers and directors of Frogman the movie. So if you like frogs and you like men, check it out. There's on the show, which we have Conversations of Void, which is at 9 p.m. Central every Wednesday over at YouTube, and follow us on all social media at Pod Out at Night. You'll see me over at Kyber Cave a couple days a week too.
Yeah, we were plugging your show at the beginning of this because we were like, yeah, Graveyard's not here yet because he's still doing an interview. But if you guys once you're done here, if you haven't checked it out yet, if you weren't watching it before, head over to Pot Out at Night. Go watch that interview because it's actually pretty funny. So you guys were having
man. I just saw that. That's awesome.
And of course, ladies and gentlemen, you know who I am. I'm your boy, Young Phil. Distance Podcast. Yes, absolutely. Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Threads, YouTube, Discord, MySpace, Vine, GeoCities, Friendster, Second Life, AIM, Farmers Only, Christian Mingle, OnlyFans. Only pictures of Aaron Watson's feet and mandals. Like mandals.
Yeah.
The beard. The beard. And oh my god, I just realized I have all these things in Funko form. And James's glasses.
Small head.
So seductively sitting on a table, staring right back at you, saying how much they want to see you naked. But just the glasses, not James. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to send us an email and have us read it on the show, It's funny. I'm looking for my tag, and I'm like, I forgot my line. So if you'd like us to break up with your boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other, pet, schoolyard bully, annoying neighbor, or just tell us how much you enjoy us, hate us, or wish the internet would consume us completely and spit us out at the feet of Nathaniel Essex himself. Oh yeah,
yummy.
All right. Nathaniel Essex is is not a sexy man. He just has a diamond on his forehead. Send us an email at dist.
You don't even have it.
I think it's only me and you that have an AOL, man. I'm sorry.
It's nerding at AOL.com, and we will read the email live on the show. So guys, that is it. Thank you so much for coming on, guys. We are going to end it at this. So guys, until next week, as we always like to say around here, keep nerding together. We'll see everybody on next week's episode of Examine.
I didn't get to say graveyard.
Yeah. We'll see everybody on next week's episode of Examining 97. And then, of course, tomorrow, if you're in the area, me and Graveyard are going to be doing more brackets. RPGs, right? The best RPG while I'm building this NES. So catch us on the build at 6:30 tomorrow. What time is your guys' show, Ash?
We are on at 9 o'clock Pacific time.
God,
cool.
We're later because there's some hosts that have kids, so we started a little later.
God, man, you might be able to be on a third show this week.
Yeah.
If you want to come on, man. I'm not pressuring you because I know you got stuff that you got to do. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks, and keep nerding together. Take care, guys.